Does your AC stop working? Does your truck shake unexpectedly? These are some common problems with a Dodge, and today we're going to give you some solutions to these problems and more on TruckU.
Bruno, you've done some work in here, man.
Man, I've been killing it.
I like it. Hey, welcome to TruckU. You know, Bruno and I have met a lot of you guys over the last couple of years, whether it's at a race or at a truck event or walking around an airport, and we get a lot of questions from you guys too.
Yeah, everybody has a specific problem they want specific answers to on their very specific vehicle, and unfortunately, there are way too many variations to make everybody happy. But today we're gonna kind of lump everybody together in the Dodge Ram category and talk about some problems they have with this specific truck.
Now, we've done this in the past with good reviews. We've done it with Chevys, we've done it with Fords, and today it's Dodge's turn, like you said. One of the first things you hear about from Dodge owners is the complaint about a cracked dash. Now, that's an easy one, so I'll take this, right? Now, you can go in there and swap out the whole dash and spend a lot of time and a lot of money, or you have an option right here with this little dash top. It's just like a little skin that goes on top, and you can get these from LMC Truck. We work with these guys all the time, and this is, like I said, nice and easy. This will just slide in place and drop down. You make sure that it fits and it covers up and all your vents are open, which these are. You line it up and it's good to go. Once you know that that's good, you just put your adhesive on underneath there, let it sit for a couple hours and stick, and you got a dash that's just about as good as new, man.
Yeah, it took you as long to talk about as it did actually fix the problem.
Probably longer. I get a little long-winded. All right, dude, you're on to this next one. I'll catch up with you in a minute.
All right. Unfortunately, the next common problem with these Dodge Ram trucks from 02 to 09 is the fact that they've got a failure with what they call the blend door. Basically, it's a failure in the HVAC or climate control system. Symptoms might include things like, well, you can't switch from defrost to your dash vents, or you're having a problem getting hot air in a cold day. And in this specific truck, we had a problem with, you know, the driver's side, we can get cold air coming out, but on the passenger side, we couldn't. The downside of this whole problem is the fact that to fix it, it can cost you a lot of money. You bring it to a repair shop, you bring it to the dealership, you're looking between $1,000 to $1,500 to make this fix, because the repair is pretty sophisticated. You've got to get underneath the glove box to the plenum to do so. You got to take the dash out, you've got to get the steering column out, you've got to empty the evacuation system, you've got to go ahead and clean out the radiator. All this stuff takes a lot of time, costs a lot of money, but now there's an easy fix, and a way we're going to do it is by using the heater treater kit. What it allows us to do is to fix our climate control system to back to perfect operating condition, do so in a fraction of the time, and do so, best part, for a whole lot less money. For us, it's going to cost us a little bit over $100 to do so, save us a ton of time, and allow us to do it ourselves. Now, to give you guys a better understanding of how we're going to do this, we've got a plenum up on the tabletop where we can show you firsthand how this whole kit works.
So we've got our plenum box up here, and we can kind of take a look at how the guts work of this thing. Now, keep in mind, if you took this to the dealership just to get this out, fix it, and put it back in, they're probably going to bill it out at almost 8 hours, right, of labor, plus all the other stuff that they're going to find wrong with it. So that's how you get into that $1,500 price tag. You know, when you add up all the numbers on that, it can happen real quick. Now, just for spatial relations here, let's take a look at it this way. Here's the driver's seat, right? The glove box would be over here, and basically I'm hanging out in the engine compartment. So that's where everything is in relationship to everything else right now. So here is the recirc door, right? This is the first thing. So Bruno, what I'll do is, you hold that little motor there for 1 second. So we're gonna start down on this end and go that way on things that can go wrong. So we got our recirc door, you know, when you put on your max AC, and then it pulls the air from the cab. So if it's open here, it's pulling the air from the cab, that goes down in there, goes through the system and blows back out. Now, if you want the fresh air from the outside, and that's closed off to the cab, that's when it's coming in here. So this is one way or the other. That's all it is. These motors are ridiculously strong, right? And they turn an axle right here on this piece. Now, there's nothing in the factory setup back here in the older trucks to stop that. So the axle would turn and this door would just get hung up one way or the other. Well, this plastic door over time would break and it would end up like that, what you see here. So what happens is that breaks and it goes down there like that. And you're wondering why you're not getting any air, right? Well, it's like having a big window open. You're not getting anything from the cab, you're not getting any fresh air, because here's where it's going in. So we're gonna move that out of the way and replace that with the new door right there. And that's gonna slide in place. and then we'll line up this new metal axle on there as well. And this is going to be a lot stronger. And we'll put this in place, and then boom, there you go, all the way, and closed. Open, closed, open, closed. And that is how it's done right there.
Yeah, you'll notice too with the new heater treater piece, you've got a stop on both sides so you're not putting stress on the door. How you can diagnose if you've got a bad door or not from the outside looking in is you can go up and feel underneath here and see if you can feel these broken little tabs. Well, if the stop here is broken off, you can assume that the door is broken. So what happens is that stop breaks, like you'll see right there, and then it puts all the stress and load from the motor onto the door, and that fails. So what we'll do is replace these old plastic doors with a brand new metal one from heater treater.
Slide that in.
We'll go like that.
There you go.
Put our new metal axle in place, and there you go. You've got a full functioning door, and your climate control system will start working again. Now we're going to do this inside the truck, so what you do is you take a Dremel tool, you'll cut out a patch right here, insert this in place, put the patch back in, seal it up with some metallic duct tape, and you are good to go, and you no longer have to breathe in all of this stuff which is coming off those factory doors.
Now, today we've been talking about common problems that you're going to have in Dodge trucks potentially, right? Now the bad news is you can have this same issue in Fords and some Chevrolets as well. But the good news is now we've got a much more inexpensive way to fix that problem. We need to go to break right now, but when we come back, we're going to keep working on this Dodge. There we go. Now welcome back to TruckU. So what we've got going on next on this Dodge is we've got a little issue with the bump steering. We want to solve this before it becomes a bigger problem with the death wobble. So what he's got is a little 2-inch lift and leveling kit on the top of the spring. We've got that going on, right? You combine that with the bigger tire, so there's a heavier stress load on all of the steering geometry up on the front. So when he's hitting pretty good sized bumps, things are starting to shake around a little bit. That can wear down the bushings and become a huge problem down the road. And like we said, we want to avoid that and fix it now before it becomes a big problem, right?
Now along that same line, you've got an issue here with the steering box and this Pitman arm. So what happens is you've got a lot of load and a lot of stress over here. It can actually twist the frame and twist our steering box right there. So we're going to reinforce it. We've got a support system from BD Diesel to do that. But first we've got to get this bolt off here that holds the Pitman arm in place. Hold on a second, Matt. All right, so what we're going to do is take this nut off. We're going to use a bit of an extension. They're called a sector shaft to go into place. So we'll use our lock nut, lock washer here. I'm going to go ahead and run this up. Once I get it tight, we can go ahead and tighten it the proper way and torque it to 180 pounds.
That's about 178.
So what you want to do is make sure you keep everything loose, just set into place, and then we can go ahead and tighten it all down once we get it all set. This way, the steering arm, we can completely support it all the way around, and it can't flex and it can't bend.
Now this is the new track bar that's going to replace the stock one, and it's nice for a couple different reasons. First of all, it's adjustable, so you get each end tied in and you can spin this little center section. You spin it one way, it kicks everything out. You spin it the other way, it brings everything back in. So whatever you want to do, you can. And it's greasable on both ends, which is another nice touch.
Now, one of the other things we're going to do is replace the fuel pump with a brand new one we got from BD Diesel. It's the lift pump, because what it's doing, it's taking the fuel out of the fuel tank and it's sending it up to the mechanical fuel pump that feeds the injectors. Now, one of the problems with the factory one, if you've got a 98 to an 04 Dodge Ram truck, is that first of all, it's positioned too far from the fuel tank and it's hard for it to pull that fuel up to that injector pump. Now, the other thing too is it doesn't have enough volume and it wears out right away. Now, this truck itself has had 3 factory pumps on it, so we're replacing it with a brand new one from BD Diesel that has a lot more volume. This one can push out 180 gallons per hour, the other one only 100. We're also going to help its cause by relocating it closer to our fuel tank itself, because it's easier to push the fuel than it is to pull it. We've also got our little filter which will go into place before it, so anything that gets into the fuel tank will be filtered out before it hits the pump, won't contaminate the pump, and keep this thing running strong.
So today we're back inside our buddy's engine shop, taking a look at some of the common problems you can have internally in your engine. You know, a lot of people don't think about the constant punishment and abuse that these internal parts are taking, and these valves are a great example of that.
Yeah, if you look at a new valve and a used one here with some miles and some carbon buildup, that's a great indicator of what can happen inside your engine. You've got that carbon buildup, and in extreme circumstances, it'll go all the way up the stem, and especially like your exhaust valves, because they're getting a lot of heat, they'll get a lot of carbon buildup. The problem with that is the valves will want to stick. They're not going to want to close all the way. You're going to lose power. And look at just the flow characteristics. You know, there's a lot of time and a lot of energy spent in getting the right flow through your engine and with the right tapers of your valve. When you've got all this carbon buildup, what happens is you lose all of that flow and you get turbulent air, which is going to mean a loss of power.
Now, one easy way to remedy this is to simply pour Z-Max into your engine. Now, keep in mind, Z-Max is a micro lubricant, so it's not going to change the chemical makeup of your oil or your fuel. So that's one very important thing. All it does is it uses the oil and the fuel as a carrying agent. Because of the fact that it's a micro lubricant, it can get into places that ordinary oil cannot. Once it soaks into this metal, that carbon right there has nothing to stick to.
Just another way that Z-Max keeps you out of the engine shop.
So the final issue that we're going to deal with on this Dodge truck today is one that a lot of you guys have dealt with, and that's the issue with the rear tail lights right here, man. Take a look at this. You could have a problem.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times you'll have the tail lights burn out and you can't figure out why. In this instance, and it happens with a lot of these, is you'll get a crack and water will get in through the housing itself and it'll burn out the bulb. So you replace the bulb, you figure, well, it's no big deal. Well, over the course of time, you start getting corrosion, you start burning out bulbs more and more frequently. So what we did is we took our circuit board here, we cut it open, and you can see that exactly what was happening. We were having water go in and corrode the circuit board, which was killing the bulbs. So what you can do is you can start chasing a bunch of wires like they'll tell you to do on the forum,
right,
or you can go down to your local dealership and buy a new part.
Yeah, you can get this board right here for about 30 bucks. You can get this piece and this together for about 150, or you can spend 30 on this and put some caulk right there on the crack and block up the hole, and the problem's solved, right?
Right.
You kind of like that method better, don't you?
I'm taking the 30 versus the 150 all day.
Me too, man.
After time, molding can become loose and needs to be replaced. Make your truck look new again with this body side molding kit from LMC Truck. The molding comes in a 32-foot roll, so it can be cut to the exact length you need. We cut the molding with snips instead of scissors for a more exact cut. Go ahead and prep the surface of the truck with a prep wipe to free it of all the contaminants. Then peel back the 3M backing tape and press the molding in place. Just a little work, and we have made a huge difference to the appearance of this truck. This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. Restore, maintain, and customize your truck with parts and accessories from LMC Truck. Here's this week's Spark Plug tip, brought to you by Champion Spark Plug.
Every engine needs quality spark plugs to help ensure maximum power, performance, and reliability. Even the engines that power your weekend activities, including your jet ski, boat, or ATV. When picking new plugs for these engines, there are two key considerations: the spark plug's resistor design and the anti-fouling characteristics. Take, for example, this Champion Marine spark plug from Federal Mogul. This plug features a Q-type resistor design that eliminates interference with the engine and other electronic controls on the boat, such as a radio, GPS, and fish finder. This Champion Power Sport plug also minimizes the potential risk of plug failure and fouling with increased bore clearance between the shell and core nose. Pick up the plugs that will keep you running for any adventure.
Hey, welcome back to TruckU. Now, here's a nice piece with a lot going on. It's the C10 slammed Crossmember Kit from Airbag and Suspensions, and this really allows you to accomplish a couple different things.
Yeah, this complete system is going to be a direct replacement for your front crossmember on a 63 up to an 87 Chevy truck. Now, the whole idea here is it allows you to drop this thing down onto the frame rails when you get to a show, and you can do so using as big as a 33-inch tire.
Now, you mentioned it's a complete kit that has everything you need for installation, but it also has an upgraded rack and pinion steering, which is a nice upgrade over stock. You're talking about body mounts, shock mounts, control arms. Like we said, everything is there for installation. It's the C10 slammed Crossmember Kit from Airbag and Suspensions. Now, here's something really cool. These are the bolt locks from Strata, and what these are going to do is help you keep locking all your stuff up a lot easier.
Yeah, and the way it does is it allows you to use your ignition key or your door key for all your locks, whether it's a padlock or a bike lock or one for your hitch. And the way it works is you open up the back side. We've already taken off the seal. Once you take the seal out, all you do is you put in your key, turn it, and it mechanically learns your key, And it's just that easy. So now that same key for your ignition or door will work on all these different locks.
Yeah, and you don't have to have 12 or 13 different keys. That's really nice. And Stratec is the world's largest supplier of locks and keys for automobiles. And these guys know what they're doing, and now they just made life a lot easier. This is the Blue Magic Headlight Lens Restorer and Headlight Lens Sealer. It's going to help prevent and fix this. All you've got to do is walk around the parking lot once or twice and take a look at all the headlights that people neglect. They turn yellow, it gets ugly, and it's a safety issue too because all the light is not coming out of there.
Yeah, you can have the brightest xenon headlight bulb inside here, and if it's yellow or hazed over, you're not going to be able to see going down the road, and people aren't going to be able to see you, so that definitely becomes a safety issue. Now, when it comes to replacing one of these, it can cost you an upwards of $1,000 if you got, a high-end luxury car.
Right.
If you want to repair it though, you can do it now for just a few bucks. You wipe on, you buff off, no tools needed, and you can regain that optical clarity.
It also protects against UV rays, and what it's going to do is not only fix this, but prevent this from happening in the future. So that is definitely a good thing. It's the Blue Magic Headlight Lens Restorer and Headlight Lens Sealer. Earlier today, we were talking about the wobble you can get in your vehicle, and one of the things that can cause that wobble is an improperly lifted vehicle. Well, here is a proper way to do it. These are the Rancho Quick Lift Loaded Strut Assemblies, and it's a nice way to lift and level the front end of your vehicle.
Yeah, if you're looking to get 1 inch to 2.5 inch of lift to your vehicle, this is a great way to do it because it's going to do it the proper way. It's easy to install. These come preloaded and they're configured for your application. You've got the spring installed and you don't need any specialty tools. It'll just bolt right in place in less than a half hour.
Just like all the other Rancho products, you've got 9-position adjustability right here that they're known for. So you can really kind of tailor make this to your individual taste and or ride. So that being said, speaking of rides, we need to get outside and take the party out there, man.
Yep.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speed.com or visit our website at truckutv.com.
Welcome back to TruckU. So today we've been taking a look at the common problems some people have with Dodge trucks. Well, the truck is handled and that's all out of the way. Now it gives us some time to come on out here and take a look at our buddy's trailer. And we want to take a look at some of the issues that he's having with this. And issue number one is right here with these tires.
Now, trailer tires are often neglected and they're stored incorrectly. Like right now, this trailer is sitting in dirt and grass, and what happens is you've got a lot of moisture buildup. It's sitting there for months eating at the tire, and in this instance, making it go flat.
Well, another misconception that some guys have is, well, I only use that trailer tire 4 or 5 times a year, so that thing will last forever. That's not the case. You got to think about the duty cycle of the trailer tire. It might be used 24 hours in a row, nonstop, and then it'll sit for 6 months. So there's a really unusual wear and tear pattern on that tire. So you want to make sure that you have the right tire for the specific job.
Now, don't confuse a trailer tire for a truck tire. In this instance, he's got a truck tire on the trailer, and they've got completely different needs, so they're built completely differently. First of all, you look at the tread itself. You can get away with less tread on a trailer tire, which allows you to get more plies in it, makes it stronger to carry those heavy loads.
Now, the engineers at Carlisle Tire sent us these, and we're going to pop those off and put these back on. These are the Radial Trail RH tires, specifically designed for trailer applications. But before we put these on, we want to shoot back inside the shop for a second and take a quick look at the anatomy of a trailer tire.
I love when we get to cut stuff up.
I know, it is cool, isn't it? Now we can come in here and take a look at a little something I like to call the Carlisle Radial Trail RH Pie. We cut about 1/4 of the tire out, and now we can take a look at the guts on the inside and see what makes it tick. You know, in independent laboratory tests, these trailer tires were right there at the top of the heap as far as longevity and as far as holding up went. And this is why, man. Take a look at that. You cut it open and you can see kind of where the magic happens. Right?
Yeah, that's the whole high-strength belt package. It's what they call DuraTrail technology, and it consists of really 3 layers. You've got the nylon layer on the outside, 2 steel belts on the inside, and 2 poly plies inside of that. And the whole idea is to keep the tire together nice and tight. You know, where a truck tire, you might start pulling apart the plies, you're going to start getting a lot of heat. This keeps it meshed well together tight, helps dissipate heat, which is one of the biggest problems you have with trailer tires, is keeping that heat down.
Yeah, heat is your enemy in the world of trailer tires. Another thing that they have, what they call is heat shield technology. And really, that encompasses all of the rubber in the compound of the tire right there. They kind of reinvented it and made this specialized rubber compound that also dissipates heat. So those things all work together to try to get that heat out of there, keep that tire as cool as possible, and make it last as long as it can.
Now you take a look at the bead right here and you see all these steel wires in here, probably about twice as many as you'd see on a truck tire. And the whole idea is to keep this bead nice and stiff, keep it hooked to the tire, hooked to the wheel, which is obviously pretty important when you're talking about trailering. And you want to make sure that you've got a nice stiff sidewall so the trailer doesn't wash out or roll on you when you go around turns.
Now let's talk about the tread right there. And you've got the shoulder treads on the side, those are nice. And you've got the middle ones right here, and you can see all the engineering and all the grooves right there. And that is done to evacuate water off to the side, keeping that contact patch between the tire and the road as big as possible. It's all about, good contact going down the road. That's the name of the game. So,
now, wait, a lot of people, one thing you need to mention is a lot of people don't realize that trailers aren't supposed to be pulled over 65 miles an hour, and that goes into the tread as well, because it's not a high-speed tire, and that's a lot of reason why you have failures is people are going too fast for the tire, causing excess heat buildup and causing failures.
That's a very good point, and I admit I've done that. Okay, so I admit it in front of everybody. But hey, while we're here, let's get the tires that we didn't cut up and take those out to the trailer, right? Because this was cool, but
it's not much good to us now, right? All right, I got one over here. All right, last one.
That's it.
We won't be needing this anymore.
No, file that thing. All right, one tire left, and this job is done. All right, here's something to keep in mind when you're changing out all the trailer tires. You want to make sure you use the right size and use all the same size tires. Like in this case, we've got 4 of them. Now the trailer manufacturer will tell us what size tire to use, and you wrap those all the way around. Even if this one doesn't blow, you want to change it when you're changing this one, because if you don't, you're just going to have this one blow on you maybe 2 weeks down the road, and then it's going to destroy the side of the trailer. And you don't want that, so change them all at the same time.
Also, the little things. Check the tire pressure. You want to make sure you have the right tire pressure in the tires. All you have to do is look on the side of the tire. It'll tell you the max pressure to put into it in the shade. You don't want to do it when the tire's hot. You want to make sure it's cold. This way you'll keep the tire from overheating. That's one of the biggest problems with trailer tires is they're underinflated. They get excess drag, which causes excess heat, which causes them to pop. So make sure you spend a few minutes, change out all the tires, make sure you have the right tire pressure, and you've got a trailer tire on your trailer, and you should be good to go.
It's just like all the other automotive parts, man. Excessive heat is really, really bad, right? You know what's nice about these Black Rock wheels? Take a look at this. This little cap goes on and off right here, so you can grease that thing without having to pull the whole tire off. Just a nice little thing in the whole package. So that's it. That's gonna wrap it up. I think we're done, right?
That's it, buddy.
Cool. We'll see you guys next time right here on TruckU.
Why don't you give me that sandwich?
You know, you might want to watch the curb checking too. That's another bad thing. Just something to think about.